We are the Tribulation Saints. I'm here to prepare you. We are the Tribulation Saints. I'm here to prepare you. Death by guillotines. The easiest way to die. Here we have a report at the Patriot News. America 2016 concentration camps. List of citizens and guillotines. Why do you keep showing this stuff? You're nothing but a fear-monger.
For use in martial law, I teased him at first and told him I knew all about the modern guillotines in Fort Lewis. He was shocked. He said, "How did you know? This is highly classified information. Future under martial law, to behead all New World Order resistors." The longer he listened, the angrier he got. Using a few choice expletives, he said, "They never told us this would be used on Americans under martial law, to get rid of all Christians and New World Order resistors. We thought they would be used in Iraq or something." He then asked me to tell him more and more.
Death by guillotines. The easiest way to die. What does Islam and the Vatican have in common? RFID tracking chips at the Vatican, fulfilling the prophecy of the popes? Does it say anywhere in the Bible about the mark of the beast, the Antichrist, anywhere at all, that there'll be a beast that rises up and enforces a mark on people? Does that ring a bell? The announcement that thousands of Vatican clergy and employees will be issued an identification card with an RFID tracking device comes as no surprise. Even the Pope needs to be concerned about confidentiality and security. However, His Holiness seems to be following the prophecy of the popes and bringing us one step closer to Armageddon. Who else is part of the mark of the beast, Antichrist, end of days, apocalyptic system? Would you guess that perhaps Islam has anything to do with it? Of course it does. Look at this. In the Press TV news here, Saudi Arabia introduces e-bracelets for Hajj pilgrims. Report e-bracelets. What's an e-bracelet? Muslims joining this year's pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia will have to wear, did you hear me? They will have to wear an electronic safety bracelet after thousands of them died in a tragic crush last year. A safety bracelet, as if a bracelet is going to save them from being crushed. According to a report in the Saudi newspaper, the high-tech safety measure will help authorities provide care and identify people. Isn't that what this is really all about? The report added that the bracelets store each pilgrim's personal information, including addresses and medical records, and I'm sure much, much more. Personally, I do not think that the Islam religion will take a mark. It doesn't fit into what we've already studied about the components of the number of the beast, the mark of the beast, and the name of the beast, but this is still a very interesting development nonetheless. However, we know that those who are not in the name of the beast or the number of the beast will have to take a mark of the beast, and if you don't like it, well, there are consequences for such a thing. Here in the Patriot News, we see a report about concentration camps. America 2016 concentration camps. List of citizens and guillotines. Now, as many of you know, there are hundreds and hundreds, depending on the report that you read and study, This one says 800 concentration camps or re-education camps are in the United States and fully operational at this moment. The following is a report dedicated by a man who simply goes by the name of Mr. C. Mr. C is a former inspector for the Joint Chiefs of Staffs and the Department of Defense, and I had a chance to speak with him recently. A lot of these guys cannot give their names. They know they'll be killed for leaking information, so some of these reports are true. If I've got to explain to you that this stuff is real, if I've got to explain to you that there are FEMA camps, that they are going to come after us, there is a real mark of the beast, none of this stuff is going to make any sense to you. But if you understand that already, then this stuff does make sense to you. So let's see what he has to say. On the afternoon of April 7th, during Reagan's term, somewhere in Washington, D.C. area, I spent 4 hours at a very secret meeting with people who are risking their lives by being there. During the meeting, I was shown material stamped top secret. One document was signed by President Reagan. Both documents referred to Christians as disruptors. Disruptors. Are you a disruptor? The CIA document he was shown was created for the Pentagon and stated that the official Department of Justice, FBI terminology for Christians, would be Disruptors Movement. The Disruptors Movement. The document proceeded to outline a plan for the arrest, execution, and mental rehabilitation for all disruptors as follows. There are 3 stages. The question I have for you is, which stage are you going to be in? Let's check out these stages real quick. Stage 1. This is how they're going to come get you. This is how they're going to classify you. And this is one of the categories that we fall into if you are a Christian. Stage 1. To terminate with extreme prejudice. This means to execute in cold blood all disruptors who are publicly interfering with Operation Cable Splice, a plan to take over all municipal court and state governments and make them into one federal government over all municipals and then into a single world government, the New World Order. So that's the first stage. To round people up who they know are a problem, who are giving resistance, kicking their feet, crying out for the Constitution, who are making their voice known. Is that who you are today? Are you on the street preaching? Do you make videos and Facebook posts? Do you go in the community and ruffle the feathers of the Antichrist system? Because if you do, that's what they're going to do to you. Stage 2. Simply to arrest, either on criminal charges or mental inquest warrants, all disruptors who jeopardize Operation Cable Splice by their fanatical religious lifestyle or their emergency preparedness, which would enable them to live outside the government direction or aid under a national emergency, which they're planning a national emergency, state of emergency. Stage 2 disruptors will have to be terminated as they can't be rehabilitated. Planned rehabilitation will take place in certain detention, concentration camps, or special mental wards. Now these are people who are a little bit less provocative. More than likely, these people will still have to be terminated and locked up because they won't change, but they're a little bit less abrasive to the system. Now, stage 3, the arrest of all collaborators and infiltrators who, along with the disruptors, will have their money confiscated, for it is estimated that half the wealth of the U.S. is in their hands. People that are committed to Christ, but they're just not very active. They're going to give their life to Jesus. Well, actually, this could be a lukewarm group as well. People that are undecided, playing the fence, a mixture. And as they go into the rehabilitation camps, they're going to give in. They're going to take the mark. They're going to cooperate. They don't want to die. They don't want to starve. And that's the stage 3 people, the lukewarm, iffy, slag people. Now listen, a lot of people are going to give their lives to Jesus during this time. That's why in Revelation 7 we see people dipping their robes in the blood of the Lamb coming out of the Great Tribulation, who had died from starvation, from thirst, and the heat elements of the world, and they've at last minute gave their lives to Jesus, is the way I picture it. Stage 3 is that kind of pressure that's coming upon people who are dragging their feet, being lazy and inactive, unproductive right now, where most of them will probably actually give into the system because they're afraid of death. They don't want to starve. They don't want to be killed, right? So which stage are you in? If you're a Christian, you're in one of these 3 stages. Either you're radical out there on fire for God right now, hitting the streets, and you're working the kingdom, the ministry, and you're trying to warn people and preach the truth, coming against, the Antichrist system the best you can to save people. Or you're active, but you're not very active. You associate with people like that, but you yourself are not quite as gung-ho, if you will, about the ministry work. Or you're lukewarm. And you might even criticize people who do these other things, and you're just you believe in Jesus, but you think that radical stuff isn't for you, and you're just going to go about your lukewarm, compromising lifestyle and see where it gets you. Which classification do you fall in?
So angry at how they were being deceived and brainwashed, he told me, "I will never go along with this New World Order agenda. I am a Christian. I will contact my men in my platoon, 64, and those I can trust who are Christians."
Georgia House of Representatives, 1995 to 96 sessions, HB 1274, death penalty. Guillotine provisions. Death by guillotines.
Now you know the guillotines are real. He told me they are everywhere, in Fort Hood, Fort Bragg, Fort Lewis, in all the U.S. military bases, including Germany, where he was stationed. Yes, Europeans will be beheaded for their faith as well in the New World Order. Pass this on and pray for me, for Donnie and his Christian men. They are hunting down from Fort Lewis. Pamela Schufert, noted author, investigative journalist, reporting lived from across the nation. It is now time for the true believers of USA, Canada, and for the whole world to prepare for the coming crisis. It will not be without persecution, testing, and bloodshed. I dare say, in fact, that it is time for the true believers of North America to prepare for martyrdom for their faith. End-time Bible prophecy is about to unfold in this nation, as never before, and I can prove it.
Come join us as we hold on until the end.